Hey everyone, today we're going to take a look at the volume of cones. So, just as we talked about how to find the volume of cylinders, we're going to follow 3 steps. Choose the formula, fill in the values for the formula, use your calculator to calculate the volume. The only difference is when we have a cone, first of all, like an ice cream cone. Think about an ice cream cone. Our formula to find out how much that ice cream cone can hold, or the volume, is 1/3 pi times radius squared times height. So it is pretty much like what we did with cylinders, except now you have 1/3 times pi times radius squared. So again, radius is your measurement halfway across your circle, and your height usually looks like a dotted line. Sometimes it's solid, but that is how tall your cone is. And I almost said ice cream cone. So let's practice a few of these. So let's say I have this cone right here. Oops, let me make it into an actual cone. And I'm going to tell you that the radius is 10. Let's use inches for this one. And the height is 25 inches. So first, I'm going to write my formula. Volume equals 1/3 times pi times radius squared times height. Next, I'm going to plug in my values. Volume equals 1/3 times pi, we're going to use 3.14, times our radius is 10 inches squared, times our height, which is this measurement right here, times 25. I'm going to go over to Desmos. That's my preferred calculator, desmos.com. And I'm going to type 1 divided by 3. That's how you get that fraction. Then I want you to make sure that you use the arrow key to come out from the fraction, times 3.14. Remember, X is for times. And we said our radius was 10 squared times the height was 25. And when we look at that, we get 26/16. Well, the 6 after it rounds it up to 26/17. So my volume is 2,617 cubic inches. So that cone will hold 2,617 cubic inches of something. Let's try a few more. So I'm going to draw a cone, a second cone here, and I'm going to give you this measurement all the way across. That's our diameter. And I'm going to say that is 10, let's use inches again. And then our height, I'm going to say, is 18 inches. So let's follow our algorithm or our process. We write our formula. Volume equals 1/3 times pi times radius squared times height. Next, we plug in our numbers. Before I do that, did you guys notice that they gave us the diameter? So if they gave us the diameter, we need to half it, divide it by 2 to get our radius of 5 inches. So the diameter is 10, but the radius we need is 5. Now let's plug in our numbers. 1/3 times pi, or 3.14, times our radius is 5 squared, times our height, which is 18. I go over to my calculator, and I already have the 1/3 times 3.14 in, so I'm just going to backspace. You don't have to do this. You can start fresh every time if you want to. So matter of fact, let me do that so one more time so you can see how I got that 1/3. So to get the 1/3, I do 1 divided by 3, hit your space key to come out, times pi is 3.14, times my radius squared, so 5 squared, times my height of 18, and you get, in this case, exactly 471. So my volume is 471 cubic inches. Sometimes I'll just give you the words. I'll say, this is a cylinder. Nope, sorry, we're doing cones. Sorry about that. This is a cone that has a radius of 5 feet, and it has a height of 15 feet. What is the volume? So let's go through our steps. For a cone, our formula for volume is volume equals 1/3 times pi times radius squared times height. Next, I plug in my values. Volume equals 1/3 times 3.14, which is pi, times my radius is 5 feet, so 5 squared, times my height, which is 15 feet, so times 15. I plug that straight into my calculator. So 1 divided by 3, use your arrow key to come out of the fraction, times 3.14, x for times, 5 squared, x for times, 15, and you get 392.5, so I would round that to 393. So this cone can hold 393 cubic feet. And let's try one more, and we're still going to look at a cone, but this time I'm going to tell you it has a diameter of 20 yards and a height of 36 yards. And I want to know the volume again. How much can this hold? How much can this cone hold? So first I start with my volume formula for a cone, which is volume equals 1/3 times pi times radius squared times height. I do notice before I start plugging in my numbers, they gave me the diameter. How do I get the radius? Remember, we divide it by 2. So 20 divided by 2 is 10 yards, so my radius is 10. Now let's plug in our numbers. Volume equals 1/3 times 3.14, which is pi, times my radius, which is 10 squared, times my height, which is 36. Now I plug that in my calculator to calculate my volume. So again, 1 divided by 3, use your arrow key to come out of the fraction, x for times, 3.14 times, my radius was 10 squared, times my height was 36. And you get exactly 3768. And now let's look at our units.
Mr. Fonzo, if you're in the building, could you come to the front office? If you're, well, I know you're in the building, but could you come to the front office, please?
So our volume is 3,768 cubic yards or yards cubed.